Han Chang angrily shouted, "You disgusting wretch, I will kill you." The tension in the air was palpable, like a tightly drawn bow, ready to snap. Everyone was prepared for a fight. Xing Tian, Tianhong Luyan, and Wei Dinghai all looked at Zhang Yi with discontent. Zheng Daqian stared at Zhang Yi and asked, "Why did you do this?" Zhang Yi had acted too quickly, already piercing Zheng's body. Despite being one of Tianhai City's top gifted individuals, Zheng Daqian's physical strength wasn't far beyond that of an ordinary person. Being stabbed through the chest had rendered him incapable of fighting, putting them at a serious disadvantage. Wei Dinghai also looked at Zhang Yi, saying, "Zhang Yi, you need to give us a clear explanation. Otherwise, we won't be able to just sit idly by." While they didn't care much about the fate of Bai Shui sect's members, Zhang Yi's actions were too dangerous, making them fear he intended to use this opportunity to eliminate other factions in Tianhai City. They couldn't help but be wary. Zhang Yi, holding the Long Ming sword, smirked. Even though he had used his double-door technique to attack, the angle wasn't precise enough to pierce directly through Zheng Daqian's heart. Now that Zheng Daqian was incapacitated, Zhang Yi had the upper hand. He stared at Zheng Daqian and said slowly, "Zheng Daqian, even now, you're still trying to hide the truth? Isn't Bai Shui sect the one behind the zombie outbreak in Tianhai City?" These words left everyone stunned. Tianhong Luyan's eyes widened. "What? Bai Shui sect is behind the zombie outbreak?" People from other factions, as well as the Bai Shui sect's priests, looked on in disbelief. Han Chang roared at Zhang Yi, "What nonsense are you spouting? Do you know how many of our people died in the zombie attack?" Xing Tian chimed in, "Exactly. Bai Shui sect suffered the most in this attack. If they were truly behind it, they wouldn't be foolish enough to harm their own like this." Zheng Daqian's eyes flashed with frustration and madness. He never imagined Zhang Yi would uncover their secret. "Shut up. Stop spouting lies. No one will believe you," Zheng Daqian snarled. Zhang Yi laughed. "Whether or not they believe me, once I finish speaking, everyone will come to their own conclusions." "What are you so afraid of? Zheng Daqian? Don't forget to follow, share, and like the LDT group channel. The channel is going through tough times. Please support by donating a cup of coffee via PP at LDT Group to help keep us going. Every small contribution makes a big difference. Check the bio for more ways to support." Despite not fully trusting Zhang Yi, the crowd continued to listen intently. After all, Zheng Daqian had been wounded by Zhang Yi's surprise attack, not them. And the information Zhang Yi revealed was too shocking to ignore. They wanted to know the truth behind it all. Bai Li Changqing and the others also stared at Zhang Yi, eager to uncover the cause of the zombie outbreak in Tianhai City. Even with the sacrifice of Captain Bian Junyu, they didn't want any loose ends. If they could uncover the truth and find a solution, Bian Junyu's death wouldn't have been in vain, and they could report back to the higher-ups in Jiangnan. Zhang Yi raised his voice. "Everyone, the zombie outbreak was orchestrated by Bai Shui sect. It all started with the ice crystals. The ice crystals can awaken people's powers and enhance their potential, but the real purpose is that when someone who has used the ice crystal dies, their powers transfer back to Yuan Kongye. That's why Bai Shui sect generously distributed ice crystals to us. They also started the war in Tianhai City to ensure that more people would die. Even the sacrifice of their own followers didn't matter. Their followers were merely disposable, and the real goal was to harvest those with latent powers, awaken them, and then cause their deaths so that their powers would return to Yuan Kongye. Even if all of Bai Shui sect's people were killed, it wouldn't matter to Yuan Kongye because she never needed such a large following. She has something far more powerful, her zombie army, which she controls directly. Compared to humans, an army that follows orders, is strong, and is hard to kill like these undead is her true trump card." Zhang Yi's words made the atmosphere turn deathly quiet. The information was too shocking to believe. Tianhong Luyan, Bai Li Changqing, and the others turned to Zheng Daqian, looking for answers in his expression. Zheng Daqian clenched his teeth in anger. "You're slandering us. How could Bai Shui sect control something like that? If we truly had control over the zombies, why would we have suffered under the oppression of other major factions? You have no evidence, just baseless accusations. Zhang Dashan pointed at Zhang Yi, speaking coldly. Ha! Zhang Yi, I think you're the one behind this whole thing. The people present began to doubt. Zhang Dashan's reasoning seemed more plausible. They remembered that Bai Shui sect had long been oppressed by the 4 major bases and had barely survived by using the ice crystals as leverage. How could they suddenly control an army of tens of thousands of zombies in just a few months? Between Zhang Yi and Zhang Daqian, it seemed more likely that Zhang Yi was the suspicious one. After all, Zhang Yi's faction was still intact and had not suffered any losses. Zhang Yi continued. Next to the Grand Altar, there's an abandoned high-rise building where they grow a massive red vine. Its function is to absorb corpses and nutrients from the land, nurturing a zombie king. The zombie king can release a virus that creates zombies. Bai Shui sect didn't use this trump card earlier, either because they were intentionally waiting or because the vine wasn't fully developed yet. Zhang Yi pointed at Zhang Daqian and challenged, "If you say I have no evidence, would you dare take us to Bai Shui sect and dig up that red vine? The truth will reveal itself." Bai Li Changqing, Tiaohong Luyan, Wei Dinghai, and Xing Tian all seemed interested. After all, seeing is believing. They had previously been concerned about that abandoned high-rise, but had not had the time to investigate properly. However, Zhang Yi's words now raised suspicions. Tiaohong Luyan crossed her arms and said to Zhang Daqian, "Zhang Daqian, if you've got nothing to hide, take us there and let us see for ourselves." Wei Dinghai added calmly, "That's right. If it's the truth, we'll know soon enough. It might even clear your name." Xing Tian nodded. "I agree with this plan." While Bai Li Changqing and the others didn't express their opinions outright, their faces showed their intent to investigate further. After all, they had their own doubts about that location. Zhang Daqian felt a heaviness in his heart, struggling to suppress the pain in his chest. He asked Zhang Yi, "And if we find nothing there, how will you explain your actions? You can't just stab me and leave it at that." Zhang Yi smiled. "If we find nothing, then it's my mistake. You can come after me if I'm wrong." Zhang Daqian was furious, his voice caught in his throat. Zhang Yi's actions were reckless, but there was nothing Zhang Daqian could do. Even the surrounding factions didn't think Zhang Yi was entirely in the wrong. In this chaotic era, killing and seizing power were everyday occurrences. The other factions had seen enough conflict and bloodshed to avoid intervening in the feud between Zhang Yi and Bai Shui sect. They only cared whether Zhang Yi's claims were true. Han Chang, standing beside Zhang Daqian, shouted, "We at Bai Shui sect have always acted righteously and fear no one." He pointed a sharp finger at Zhang Yi, adding, "But if we find nothing, I won't hesitate to gut you myself." Don't forget to follow, share, and like the LDT Group channel. The channel is going through tough times. Please support by donating a cup of coffee via PP at LDT Group. Every small contribution makes a big difference. For more ways to support, check the bio.